Leon Rocky Edwards versus Bilal Muhammed. So this is a long anticipated rematch. I feel like it should have happened ages ago, but there's no better time for it to happen now because it's for the belt. Leon has had the belt now for quite some time. He's defended it twice, and I feel like Bilal is one of the most improved welterweights in the world. So I believe Bilal definitely deserves his shot. He's got his shot now. But for me, it should be a routine defense for Leon. It should be a very routine defense. It shouldn't be anything difficult. As long as Leon stays switched on and doesn't try and do nothing too crazy, I feel like he will beat Bilal. Only thing I'm not liking is Leon is being a bit. It's like they're taking him lightly, and I don't like that because every man who steps into that cage has a chance to win. This in MMA, anything can happen. Anything can happen. So I feel like there's no easy fight in MMA. Even if you're at the top of your game, there's no easy fight. So I feel like Leon can't underestimate this man because Bilal, after losing to Leon, has gone on to really put in some work. He's beat some live opponents. And not only that, he's stepped up his training. When you talk about even if you just look at conditioning, Bilal's cardio looks serious as well. He looks like a man who can wrestle. His striking don't look the best, but he was in there with Burns and he held his own against Gilbert Burns. So I believe that Leon can't take this man lightly. He has to understand that this brother's walking around with a Palestinian flag on his back. So just to show you the level of how bad he wants this. He wants this badly. He wants this. So we cannot underestimate this man. He's coming to Manchester. He looks switched on. He's kind of motivated himself as well because he looks really, really angry. And we're going to react to one of Leon's things in a second. But he looks really, really angry, this Bilal guy. Like he's trying to build up almost an anger that's not there. So even when I'm listening to Bilal talking and he's saying stuff like, oh, I hate this guy, I hate him, and I hate his brother. You don't know them like that to hate them. And I get it that they've been saying things in interviews, but that's what fighters do. But I feel like Bilal's trying to build up like almost this tension. So when he gets in the ring, he can just motivate himself. And anytime you see a man motivating himself like that, he's a live opponent. He's carrying a nation on his back right now. We know what's going on over there. We know what's happening to his people right now. He wants to give his people hope. And a lot of people might say, oh, that's got nothing to do with it. Just remember when Usyk fought Anthony Joshua the first time. Was it the first time? No, it could have been the second time. Or no, was it the first time? One of those times when Usyk fought Anthony Joshua, Usyk was almost carrying the weight of his nation on his shoulders. And if you go back to around that time, I was saying, people, this man is carrying the weight of his nation. Anytime a man feels like he's carrying that, it's almost like he brings an extra 50% into the ring. Because by him losing that, his people are going through something terrible in their history. By him winning, he's almost written into the history books. And that means a lot, especially to a gladiator, people. The average man may not understand it, but to a gladiator, he wants his name to be remembered. A gladiator would die during battle just to have his name remembered. And that's what Usyk should be an example to not only combat athletes, but to competitors globally. Because no matter what you say, what's going on during this time of boxing over the last 10 years, 15 years, in the Ukraine, Usyk's name will always live on for what he achieved during his nation facing adversity. So you got to think about it now. Bilal is from Chicago. He's born in Chicago, but his parents are Palestinian, so that means he's a Palestinian. Now, if you notice with Bilal, when you're looking at him in the interviews and stuff, he's rocking one chain. Look at the chain that he's wearing. It's got a little Palestinian man on the chain, and the clasp of the chain is the Palestinian flag. Enough people ain't watching these things, but I've been watching. Bilal said that chain has been made by a Palestinian jeweler, and the reason why this jeweler made this chain is because they're gonna sell it after the fight to the highest Palestinian bidder. Now, a lot of people may not be looking at this as nothing, but people, you should be looking at this as something, because these men are carrying the weight of a nation. So the reason why I'm saying that is because I'm saying when a man's carrying the weight of a nation, he goes into the ring more confident. He goes into the ring more fearless. So Rocky cannot dismiss Bilal Muhammad. The belt should be coming back to Birmingham, but we cannot take this man lightly. And to be honest, we can't take no man lightly moving forward, because what's this? Defense number 3. So we can definitely keep this thing going. I definitely believe that Leon can become one of the all-time greats. 100%. 100%. That's what I see happening. I see Leon becoming one of the all-time greats in the sport. But in order for us to get there, we have to take every opponent seriously. And Bilal is the butt of all jokes online. People make a lot of jokes about Bilal. They've come up with all these memes. I've been watching MMA Guru, and even him, he clowns Bilal heavy. But people, that's what people do. But when you look at what the man's been doing in the cage, or in the octagon, he's performing. He's beating some live opponents, man. Sean Brady, Gilbert Burns is a live opponent. Trust me, I know he's took some years off the clock because he's been in some wars, but Gilbert Burns, look at his fight against Chimaev. So Bilal must have something about him. We can't underestimate this man. So that's it. Outside of that, this is going to be a routine victory for Leon. Leon looks comfortable, man. He looks comfortable. The whole team, shout out Dave, shout out Mickey, shout out Fabian, everybody else, man. The whole team looks comfortable up there. Like they're supposed to be here. So let's not underestimate this man. So let's hear what Leon's saying. This is the
kind of surprised just how much Bilal seems to hate you.
I am 100%. For some reason, I don't know what scenario is built in his head.
All right, so you see, that's the first question they asked. They says, why is it that Bilal seems to hate you? What it is, because Leon don't understand, what it is he needs that hate to motivate himself. Bilal, you can tell, let's keep it real. You can tell that Bilal is a nice guy. He's not a man who's got no anger in him. Leon and Bilal are very similar characters. They're both humble guys. They're both nice guys. These are not trash talkers. These are not guys like that. But Bilal needs to be able to, he wants venom. He needs some venom. And that's why he's building up this hate.
We fought first time. Everyone's seen how the fight went. Ended in an eye poke. Now we're having a rematch. That's where it starts to end with me. For him, it's kind of built up like a mad scenario in his head where, I don't know. It's weird. It's very weird.
He's he's bumping into each other. He's popping off. He's saying he's going to do all these mad scenarios to you and embarrass you, torture you is the word he used today. Do you think he's being out of character, or do you think he's realised like, oh, I'm going to have to start promoting myself to try and get these opportunities again? Or what do you make of his behaviour this week?
I feel like he's trying to talk himself in the fight. You know, he's trying to convince himself that he's better than what he is. I feel.
Which he has to
on,
do.
On the way,
People, this is what Bilal has to do. Bilal needs to be able to talk himself into a position of anger. That's what he has to do, because let's keep it real. There ain't no real venom between Bilal and Leon. That first fight, Leon was piecing him up. But at the same time, we got to understand, people, that these fights, was that scheduled for 3 rounds or 5 rounds? Let's just say it was scheduled for 5 rounds, which I believe it was. That was only 1 round. So you can't, you see what I mean? You don't know what the results of a fight will be, because when Leon fought Usman the second time, before Leon landed the kick, Usman was in control in that fight.